Find out what inspired two K-State students to write their own musical comedy.
And we look at how the K-State eSports Club has built community through competition.
Plus, what's behind those loud booms coming from Fort Riley? We have all that and more coming up on MHK All Day.
Thank you for tuning in to MHK All Day. I'm Evan Penner.
And I'm Callie Ogborn. We have a great show in store for you today. We'll share some tips to help you get through flu season.
And later in the show, we'll be joined live in studio by Emily Lank and Abby Fawnensteel from Happenin magazine.
Before we get to those stories, Manhattan residents are used to hearing the noises that Fort Riley produces. But lately, those noises have increased significantly. MHK All Day reporter Blake Reed visited Fort Riley to see what the ruckus is all about.
If you were thinking that Fort Riley is making more noise than normal, you would be correct. Throughout the months of February and March, Fort Riley's 1st Infantry Division will continue an increased amount of range training. Part of this training includes the testing of the Army's new artillery system, the M109A7 Paladin. This is the predecessor to the similar-looking M109A6. The newer model will better accommodate a crew, hold more rounds, and is a little heavier so it will have less recoil. While the noises coming from this training may be a nuisance to some, Fort Riley must continue its training so that soldiers are ready for when their name is called to serve.
So combat readiness is our #1 priority. So going through and getting reps and sets to build confidence in us being able to do our job is extremely important. So going out to the field, getting those reps and sets is extremely important.
As Fort Riley continues their training through the end of March, you may continue to hear more noises and booms than you did in the past. But in the grand scheme of things, that may not be such a bad thing.
Most people just know that Fort Riley makes a lot of noise. They hear the booms, they feel the shakes, they know their windows are rattling, and that's about all they really know about Fort Riley. And what they need to know is they're actually training to keep us safe.
From Fort Riley, Kansas, I'm Blake Reed, MHK All Day.
Increased volume of fire is expected February 26th to March 2nd and March 8th through 22nd. For additional information, you can visit riley.army.mil.
With last semester's KS Unite rally still a fresh memory for many on campus, Kansas State University began taking a hard look at efforts to build diversity and community here in Manhattan. This semester, the university is taking things a step further by putting on a new series of programs called Living Democracy. This series is organized by Linda Pollock and pulls together a host of different programs, lectures, and symposiums on a variety of issues from voting and constitutional rights to police use of force and environmental changes. Students from the Prairie Fire printmakers were also commissioned to create a collage of posters in connection with Living Democracy, which is displayed in the Student Union Art Gallery, showcasing issues they felt were important. Pollock says Manhattan and the state of Kansas are integral to both U.S. history and our future as a nation.
Engaged in a dialogue about the future of our country, you need to be here in Manhattan, Kansas. I mean, it's fascinating. I couldn't have asked for a more dynamic and relevant epicenter of our constitutional democracy.
You can direct your questions to Linda at hello@livingdemocracy.info.
School safety has become a growing concern after the recent school shooting in Parkland, Florida, where 17 students were killed.
We spoke with USD 383 about the issue and how they prepare for a possible active shooter situation. MHK All Day reporter Eli Strom is in the studio with more. Eli.
Thanks, Evan. The recent shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida has raised concerns about the safety of schools during an event such as this. United School District 383 in Manhattan says that they are prepared for any such active violent event. Along with regular fire drills, the district also runs intruder drills, lockout drills, and active shooter drills. In the case of an intruder, once they are spotted on the school, it goes into a full lockdown, where students are hurried into classrooms and doors are locked. Lockouts are for possible threats outside the school, An active shooter event is when the gunmen have entered the building who may or may not have opened fire. Some of these drills are a surprise to keep teachers on their toes and assess their preparedness for such an event. One of the techniques the district uses different forms of communication like walkie-talkies and intercoms to let teachers know about the situation. Other safety techniques include doorknobs having red arrows near the keyholes to keep the teachers to make sure they know that the doors are locked. Doors are then barricaded and students hide out of sight of any windows. Also, USD 383 utilizes run, hide, and fight, where students and teachers are instructed to run and find any hiding place they can. If they encounter the attacker, they should throw anything they can at them to disorient the attacker and try and take the weapon away from them. The district works with the RCPD to plan for these instances to ensure the safety of students in the district. Each summer, the RCPD and USD 383 will run a full-scale drill at Manhattan High School. This drill includes all teachers and emergency services in the area. Actors play the part of students and a gunman. RCPD will then use blanks and simulation rounds in their weapons to prepare teachers for what shooting in the building will sound like and how police will enter the building and communicate with them. Now back to you, Evan and Callie.
Thank you for that report, Eli. While schools are facing safety issues in the wake of the latest school shooting, they also have to deal with the age-old concern of illness. The flu season has hit especially hard this winter, with many states reporting widespread flu symptoms, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. As of the week of February 10th, Kansas and many other Midwest states are reporting the highest level of influenza-like illnesses. Lafayette Health Center has reported that a few hundred students have come to them with confirmed influenza symptoms. As the flu season is approaching its peak, Abby King from Lafayette Health Center offers some quick tips on how to help prevent the flu.
We've had 110 cases in January and then 78 cases in February of positive influenza. That can vary from influenza A to influenza B. And we're continuing to see a rise of cases. Hopefully we'll hit our peak here soon. Get vaccinated. We're still doing that here at Lafayette. And so just call to make an appointment for that. And obviously good hand washing, staying away from anyone else that's sick or ill. And then if you are sick yourself, just to make sure and stay home, especially if you have a fever.
Lafayette Health Center is open 8 to 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5 p.m. on Fridays, and Saturday from 10 to 1 p.m. Evan, have you been able to evade the flu bug this year so far?
Thankfully I have, and I just pray that it stays that way. Coming up next, find out how K-State eSports has become one of the best in the game.
And I caught up with two K-State students who wrote their own musical comedy. It debuts this weekend. All this coming up after the break.
I was so pleased with what I saw on the discussion boards last night. Who started the module?
K-State Global Campus offers flexible online learning, the same name brand education, quality programs, and recognized award-winning professors with the flexibility to fit your life.
Here you are, sir. Can I get you anything else?
For your comfort and safety, light baggage must be stored in the overhead.
K-State Global Campus, always on, always there.
The best-kept secret in Manhattan is not a secret anymore. I'm Wyatt Thompson, the voice of the Wildcats, and welcome to JP's Sports Grill. With daily chef-inspired specials, a full bar, and a diverse menu that has something for everyone, this place is guaranteed to impress. JP Sports Grill, your new favorite spot.
I'm Kathleen from Meiningen, Germany.
I'm Ginger from Overland Park, Kansas.
I've traveled to London and saw the Parliament, studied in Mexico City, spent the summer in Austria, went skiing in the Alps. Oh, and I visited the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Well, I've been to the world's largest ball of twine.
Can we go?
Of course!
Become an international buddy today and develop new friendships and experience different cultures.
Up next, the world's deepest hand-dug well.
Is it near the Grand Canyon?
The Kansas State eSports Club has been around since 2010, but the emergence of eSports as a worldwide phenomenon has seen the gaming world develop greatly in the recent years.
MHK All Day reporter Grant Nicholson has more on the story.
The competitive gaming scene is exploding in popularity, with multiplayer games like League of Legends and Rocket League entering the mainstream. The level of play has also risen. The K-State eSports Club is no different, being at the top of their field in several competitions.
We have a very good League of Legends and Heroes of the Storm team. Our Heroes of the Storm team is currently undefeated in TESPA, and in terms of LAN tournaments, we've been very successful for CSGO and Overwatch. At that Wichita eSports convention, we took second in Overwatch, so we're doing pretty well in a lot of different competitions right now.
The K-State eSports team is a great way to build community among gamers at Kansas State, and I think if I play long enough, I might be able to make the team next year.
The eSports Club here at Kansas State prides themselves on being a place where gamers can gather to build relationships and compete in their favorite games at a high level.
We want to be a club focused on campus for the people, and we want to make an environment where people thrive in the things that they can do. We see collegiate esports as a passion that a lot of people have been trying to get into and really excel at.
The K-State eSports Club is hosting a tournament for teams across the Midwest during the first weekend in March. Teams will compete across 9 different games to be crowned in an event that the club hopes to expand in future years. In Manhattan, Grant Nicholson, MHK All Day.
For more information on the Heartland Tournament, go to the eSports Club Facebook page at facebook.com/KSU Esports.
I would consider myself pretty good at gaming. I do love to game, but that seems like pure serious business. Do you think you'd make the team?
I think I stand a chance.
2 K-State students have written their own romantic musical comedy set in the country of Lebanon. I had a chance to attend rehearsal to find out more about the inspiration behind it. K-State students Alex Joachim and Jonah Erickson open their romantic musical comedy An American in Beirut. The show follows Jack, an American, on vacation to Lebanon, where the culture and people get him mixed up in some interesting situations, and of course, a little romance. Joachim wrote the music and lyrics from his experiences as a Lebanese American.
I kind of shared with him some vignettes about my life, some different stories.
There's a lot of points that become reoccurring narrative motifs throughout that have kind of derived from Alex's stories and me interviewing his parents and reading Lebanese literature.
An American in Beirut will be presented as a stage reading, where all actors have scripts and there is no set or costumes.
This is more of a prototype, so we're not wanting to present a finished, polished product. We want the audience to participate.
I asked Alex how his Lebanese upbringing influenced his writing of An American in Beirut.
Just the culture and the love and the food and the over-the-topness really helped develop the story, different characters, and it really informs the music as well, because it's very dynamic and all over the place.
As an American in the audience, you will have this experience that is both entertainment, but also that challenging aspect that comes with all great art. That it's going to make you question things about your American experience and kind of the Middle East and all of these things that are the big questions for us in America right now. And I think those are going to be really valuable things for Americans viewing this.
If you're interested in checking out An American in Beirut, it's playing at 7:30 p.m. on February 23rd and 24th at the Purple Mask Theater. For MHK All Day, I'm Callie Ogborn. Man, how cool is it to see fellow K-Staters achieve their dreams?
It's amazing, but I have to say watching that really made me hungry for some authentic Lebanese hummus and some fresh baked pita.
I'm glad that's the most important thing you got out of that one. Now, with some more upcoming events going on in the Manhattan community, Brianne Smith is here to tell what's coming up next week on the MHK community calendar. Brianne?
Thanks, Callie. This week on the community calendar, we have it all, from movies to guest speakers and everything in between. To start the week off, the Manhattan Public Library is holding Canteen. There will be video games and crafts. This event is open to all teens from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. in the Grossbeck Meeting Room. On Tuesday, The Odd Couple will be showing at the Manhattan Public Library at 6 p.m. as part of the 1968 film series put on by the UFM Community Learning Center, the Manhattan Public Library, and the North Central Kansas Library System. In addition to the movie, there will be trivia and prizes. On Wednesday, social media activist Megan Phelps Roper will be speaking at the K-State Student Union about how to overcome religious and political divisions. Megan left the Westboro Baptist Church with her sister Grace in 2012. The lecture will be held at the ballroom at 8 p.m. The K-State Student Union will be getting a new addition on Thursday. JP's will hold its grand opening at 3 p.m. after a short presentation and ribbon cutting. Tours and menu samples will be available. If you're looking for something to do Friday night, come to the screening of The Great Showman at the Foreman in the K-State Student Union. The film will be shown at 7 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. K-State students get in free with a valid K-State ID. Admission is $3 for non-students and $1 for military with ID and children under 12. That's all we have on the community calendar this week. Back to you, Evan and Callie.
Thanks, Brienne. Coming up next in sports, find out how one player is embracing his role in hopes of becoming a leader on the court.
Plus, we have highlights from K-State men's basketball and Manhattan High School boys basketball, all coming up after the break.
Schultz one, high and deep to left, goodbye.
Shot to right, K-State's going to try and score two. Another play at the play, but this time Brendan slides past the tag. And Brad Hill is the all-time winningest coach in K-State history.
I know a spot that I love full well.
'Tis not in forest, nor yet in dell. Ever it holds me with magic spell.
I think of thee, alma mater.
We'll carry thy banner high. Long, long, may thy colors fly.
Loyal to thee, thy children will swell the cry. Hail, 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 alma mater.
Here to give us the latest sports news, Brandon Fayback joins us in the studio. Brandon?
Thanks, Callie. Despite the cold weather, fans still attended area games to watch the Wildcats and Manhattan High hit the floor. With the basketball season coming down to the final stretch, the K-State Wildcats have their sights set towards the NCAA tournament. With the team needing leadership down the stretch, I got a chance to talk with one K-State basketball player that has been guiding his team all along. As a high school standout at Manhattan High, sophomore forward Pearson McAtee has changed roles since coming to Kansas State to play basketball. McAtee has accepted his role for K-State and has had great leadership qualities before high school. McAtee says that his teammates might be more physically adept, but it has never stopped him from leading the team.
First thing is just kind of leading by example. Now going into, my third year, kind of the halfway point in my 5-year plan, and, starting to step up a little bit more, being a little more vocal. I feel like I can see the game really well and, kind of help the guys with my knowledge since I've been in the system for a while now. So I feel like I can help them with the, the small little things that help us win the games.
Before his roles changed for the Kansas State basketball team, Pearson was a star here at the local high school in Manhattan, that is the Manhattan High Indians. Growing up in Manhattan, McAtee helped Manhattan High reach a school record 18 wins, including the program's first Centennial League title. His former high school coach, Benjamin George, says McAtee always had qualities that made him a great leader.
Basketball standpoint and a leadership standpoint, just so many qualities that so many coaches and teams would take. By the time he's a senior, I really do. I think he's going to be a contributor and be a guy that plays, important minutes and quality minutes and really continues to impact that program.
McAtee hopes to continue improving and becoming more of an on-court leader in his years to come at K-State.
By the time he's a senior, I really do. I think he's going to be a contributor and be a guy that plays, important minutes and quality minutes and really continues to impact that program.
McAtee says he had other options for playing college basketball, but was ready for the opportunity to help out Kansas State despite the change. The Manhattan High boys basketball team were back at home on Tuesday taking on Junction City, hoping to put together back-to-back wins. The Indians defeated the Blue Jays 65-61. Sophomore guard Rayshawn Riddick helped out the Indians with this drive here in the second quarter, finishing the layup after the foul. The Blue Jays stuck around with the help from senior guard DeAndre Eves as he drives strong to the basket late in the second quarter. But in the end, the deficit was too large as senior guard John Osterman knocked down this three-pointer to take the lead and control the game. Manhattan High will play their final home game of the season tonight against Shawnee Heights at 7:45. The Wildcats were back to the court on Wednesday facing the Texas Longhorns in a game that came down to the final minutes. Kansas State beat Texas 58-48. The Wildcats now sit tied for third in the Big 12 standings with West Virginia. K-State shot 41% from the field and were led by junior guard Barry Brown, who scored 16 on the day, 14 of which came in the second half. Sophomore forward Xavier Sneed came down with a season-high 13 rebounds in the matchup, 4 on the offensive side of the ball. Sneed and head coach Bruce Weber talked about the team's performance after the game.
Everybody does on the team, really, and that's just what we key in on, just stopping our opponent and not letting them score, really. So it's a big factor for me and the team as well.
Matured also. Instead of, you can't focus solely on scoring. Some games it's there, some games it's not, but you can always do all the other stuff, and that's the key to our success.
That's all we have for sports this week. Back to you, Evan and Callie.
Thanks, Brandon. After the break, we take a look at the importance of voting in the student government elections, so stay tuned.
Bases loaded, 1 out, bottom of the 9th. Cats and Sooners tied at 5, and the Cats trying to win a Big 12 title for the first time ever. Outside, it gets away to the plate. Kansas State has its title.
Chips it in the middle, a header into the goal, and a score for K-State.
Research. It's applying the bigger picture toward the greater good. Defending the world from adversaries, both seen and unseen. Interpreting realities to unlock solutions. It's our land-grant mission to serve our world utilizing sharp minds, from first-year students to world-renowned experts. What makes research so strong at Kansas State University? Vision. Progress. You.
Schultz one, high and deep to left, goodbye.
Shot to right, K-State's going to try and score 2. Another play at the plate, but this time Brendan slides past the tag. And Brad Hill is the all-time winningest coach in K-State history.
We are groundbreaking educators, laser-focused on inspiring students and sparking solutions. We are dedicated professionals, keeping campus safe, accessible, and inviting. We have big responsibilities, entrusted with serving our community and world. We are Kansas State University faculty and staff, and we have many titles, but one vision: always put family first. What turns profession into passion? Selflessness, integrity, you.
K-State Student Governing Association is behind the majority of events that students participate in throughout the year. To find out how the student-run government works, MHK All Day reporter Josh Yankovic went to investigate.
The Student Governing Association, or SGA, is made up of around 175 officials. Modeled after the U.S. government, this group of student representatives is split into 6 committees that handle student body concerns. Jordan Keel, the SGA's chief of staff, says that students who are unaware of what the SGA is lose their voice at the university.
A huge part about it is that funding aspect and what students can get from that. But I think even greater than that is the fact that no matter if a student chooses to be involved in SGA or chooses to engage with what we're doing, we act as that voice for students. So the decisions we make affect every student on campus, and that goes for the students who have never heard about SGA before, and it goes for the students that have been sitting in that room since freshman year.
The Student Senate is housed inside the K-State Student Union. Within these walls, bills presented by student groups get passed or rejected by elected officials.
Right here in the Wildcat Chamber, each week, 60 students that are voted for by students meet to make decisions that affect life across K-State. From building renovations to drag shows, the SGA allocates a budget of over $16 million. That money comes directly from student privilege fees.
Starting right at the very beginning, from that student privilege fee dollars, we're looking at what's going to give the most benefit to students and making sure that the entities that are requesting that money are not letting it go to waste or spending it on frivolous things, and that you as a student have the opportunity to have control over that money and how the decisions are made to spend that money.
Voting is the easiest way to have a say in how student funds are spent. However, the best way is to get involved. This year's elections commissioner, Corbin Sedlacek, says that voting on SGA elections is where it all starts.
Make sure that you go out and vote, because starting small here at SGA elections, your local elections, that's how your voice gets heard and you start the process of what our country is built upon, that democracy.
In Manhattan, I'm Josh Yankovic, MHK All Day.
General elections will be open outside the K-State Student Union on March 6th and 7th. Well, are you in the loop of what's Happenin? Evan is now joined by the editor and style coordinator for Happenin magazine. Evan?
Thank you, Callie. I'm here with Emily Lank and Abby Fannensteel from Happenin magazine. Ladies, thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
Appreciate it. So let's jump right into it. For those of people in the audience who may not be familiar, what is Happenin magazine? Can you just tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we're a lifestyle magazine run by students where we produce content from fitness to health, beauty to fashion, culture to just student features, and it's student ran completely.
All right. And what are you in charge of, Abby? What's your capacity at the magazine?
Yeah, I'm the style coordinator, so I'm in charge of putting on the fashion photo spreads that is in each issue. So right now we're working on our spring 2018 fashion photo spread, and we'll release the theme for the overall issue on our social media very soon.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. And how would you say the magazine has grown, and how long have you guys been with the magazine each, and how would you say it's grown, and how have you grown?
I would say that we have both been with it from like the very beginning. It's grown so much. We have so many people on our team that it's crazy. We are producing up to 3 articles online now, so it's super exciting. So I think that we've just grown, really connected more with the school and honestly as a team.
Absolutely. Abby?
Yeah, and I think being online has definitely helped us grow because it has allowed us to have more people on the team because we're releasing things 3 times a week.
Great.
So, yeah.
Great. Well, thanks, ladies. I wish we had more time, but unfortunately that's all we have for today. Thank you all for joining us on MHK All Day, and thank you, ladies. Be sure to catch us here next Friday.